All right, welcome everybody. I'm going to try to keep this one a lot shorter. Today we're going to look at the tape, specifically over the last week. A lot of interesting things have been going on. As always, everything in this video is for educational purposes only, and nothing is intended as any kind of investment advice. All right, as you guys all know, it's a pretty rough week for the market. We have our large caps in here, just a lot of selling. Kind of across the board. Barely anything was up. You had some, but I mean, just everything on this graph to the left is a negative price change by percentage, and then the y-axis is the flow price basis. I mean, everything, just most things got cooked. So we're going to look at today just the same thing as last time, the all-time swing page. Um, I did not get a chance to look at too many stocks last time, and I also just took a long time. So my goal for this video is to try to do like 10 in like 10 or 20 minutes. And unfortunately, there's probably going to be a lot of loading like this. That's just the consequence of trying to do a super big page all at once. But for those of you guys that don't know, this is the Print Chasers website. You can sign in just with Google authentication. Um, I have all of this stuff right now is technically free, but you know it's his valuable information to say the least, right? I mean, this is all the tapes, all the prints recorded over the last year at least. I have uh, more data going back further, but at least for the purpose of this analysis, we're just going to look back. Right now, I have it at the 1 year mark. We'll keep it there. So we have WULF is what we're going to look at first here. Um, So if we kind of have, all of our volume profiles, everything, the volume profiles look really bad. If you do net per level and controlling levels only, it's not as bad. It's okay. The spot is right around where there's a flip, which is interesting, where there's a lot of net shares long below, but then you also have net shares selling above. However, if you exclude the controlling levels, it's just all selling. If we smooth that out, you can kind of see when you're including the controlling prints, it's not as bad. They're still buying near the highs, a little bit below, but take out this controlling prints, it just looks horrible. So that's obviously not good. We would like to see more buying come in here. I just kind of I'm wondering about the time frame on this. I wonder if this extends the time frame or if this, I guess to see what happens if this selling kind of gets justified. Obviously, it's been justified since whatever we got up to. What was the high here? Wow, almost 30. Didn't even realize it was almost 30. We still have mostly longs in profit, which is interesting. So, the shorts in profit percentage is catching up, but it's still trending towards the longs. Auction analysis. It's got a lot of flip flop on here, which is interesting. All of these are obviously done after the day is over. All of these are done in the after hours. So it doesn't really look like there's much here to interpret or work with. I tried remaking the level reputation map. This is just kind of showing uh, essentially what happened at these boxes or at these price ranges. And a lot of it is, obviously red is more selling happen at this price level, green is more buying, right? It's interesting that you can see this box right here. So I guess there is kind of a nice little support here, it looks like possibly around this 1850 level. Underneath it, we do have some sell, and it's hard to know if this started out earlier or if it started out later. It's been mostly mixed up above 20, which is interesting, with heavy buying towards the top, which is obviously very nice to see. Um, but we'll have to keep an eye on it. I'm trying out this little view. It's interesting. I don't know if it's going to tell us anything, but this one's kind of a crazy visual. So this is percent. Oh my gosh, I just made this. I actually haven't seen this one yet. So this is percentile. So it's time at level, touches, so the amount of times that it visited or hit the level, amount of times that it printed essentially, and the net flow at that level. Um, you'll see the high, we had a net flow of negative 26 million. That's, the one of the largest, or actually, sorry, net flow, yeah. That's in the 100th percentile at this level was net flow at the highs. So might be a little concerning that there's just a bunch of cells at the high and then obviously very little time. Where you might have yellow is time. You might have a little bit more time towards the bottom, which makes sense. But yeah, net flow. Let's see here. I don't know. We'll see. I don't know if there's really much worth interpreting here. Accumulation distribution, been a little couple days of distribution. There was some nice little bounce with some accumulation in there. Some flow divergence, a couple green days where the flow was up, price was down. It's very interesting. Cumulative on level, actually pretty good. I do like that. It is just steady. 3 million shares it looks like, and no, it doesn't look bad. Again, this is kind of new levels. I'm just going to skip over that one. Skipping over some of these. Catalyst timeline with basically any time that you saw a new dollar level. So that's WULF. Interesting. I don't think it's dead, but it just doesn't look great right now. It's going to need to see a lot more buying in it, at least in the relative short term, in order to get the timing right. But we shall see how it plays out. Next, we're going to check out TE. And I'm going to see if I can go to my second monitor here and try to get some better, just a more full analysis for you guys. To make sure I have a good look back period. I'll load it pretty quick. Cool. So, I'm going to ignore that top one. On level prints, it's about matching. Kind of started selling off before it went over 10, which is interesting, at least in terms of on levels. Haven't really seen even during this period, we were at negative 960 shares, barely got over to 100,000 shares on this push from 760 to 10. So the on levels, timing wasn't that great. Let's look at the off levels. Yeah, it's about tracking. It's about pretty consistent. Net levels, that looks bad. Controlling levels only also looks bad. Smoothed, excluding above the ask and below the bid. It could help a little bit on the ask, but yeah, the highs here don't indicate that this thing wants to go further if it does. I think my data actually might start here. My data doesn't start here until looks like May. Wait, no, April. Wait, January, February, March, April, May. No, May. I get my months mixed up. Yeah, I mean, it just doesn't look good. It's, man, not as much asks as you would have liked, I think, right now. And our spot is, oh my gosh, I didn't realize how horrible the spot price was on this. Wow. $5. I missed this on even July 17th. Wow. Yeah, not a good look. Sellers are obviously in control. I'll leave that page up. Obviously, of course, if you guys want to come back to any of this, you'll be able to if you want to go to printchasers.com. Level reputation is kind of interesting. I mean, it's showing a little bit of kind of a buy preference towards the top in these levels, but overall, just the amount of flow and volume is still not good. I'm honestly going to skip this. I think I need to rework this percentile here, but I mean, it's kind of, I don't know, maybe, I mean, it's kind of interesting. You can kind of see like a little arrow, like a little V shape. So around 9, we had a lot of time and we had a lot of net flow, which is interesting. And then it kind of tapered off as you went to the highs and lows, which I suppose is, it can be expected. Maybe there's a pattern in, I don't know, just the directional arrows there. Accumulation distribution, yeah, I mean, This thing is, I think, just been dead, unfortunately. Net flow versus price divergence. Yeah, again, nothing that looks good for it, at least in terms of a uh, long-term buying situation. This is where the data actually starts. I don't have the data from November 2025. I think I started in like May, so like I started like maybe here. Um, so obviously this is a little biased. I would love to know all of this information. Unfortunately, I don't. So all that I have is this most recent couple months, which is just looked pretty rough. All right, we're gonna go to SpaceX. I'm trying to go fast, and I realize I don't think that I am. What am I at here on time? Am I even recording? Yeah, I'm at like 11 minutes. It's not horrible. I think I've gotten through 2 stocks. All right, we're gonna try to go rapid fire here. If this shit ever wants to load. I mean, if we're kind of looking at some print walls here, we had a nice print wall around 120 on the bid side. This thing has just been getting. So this is print walls. I should explain. This is just basically the largest, level in terms of how many prints are on what side, either ask or bid, up until that point. So 125, it kept on going more bid, more bid. 125 became dominant again. And then 120, and now 120 is the dominating bid wall. We have an off level wall here. It looks like 115.18. That is a uh, auction level print. That is a after hours print. And our ask wall is above. I mean, it's at 125. So um, I don't think that really tells us a lot right now. I honestly don't think SpaceX is worth trading right now. It's just it doesn't excite me in the sense that I don't know. I can't get a good sense for the story, right? I can't get a good sense for uh, who's doing what, how it trades. I mean, I just don't think it's enough of a personality for me yet to figure out. And I think we've seen a weird market the last month or so. Looking at cumulative net positions, off level or on level, obviously spiked around the open when we went to 220. That's a lot of net shares long, but now we've pretty much given away all of that back. And if we look at just the off level, 10 million short, it just doesn't seem great. But I mean, again, I don't necessarily have any super strong feelings about trading this or not trading this. Um, I think that I would just need to see a lot happen here. 174 looks like was a good area. 175 over. When they got to 200, so I'm guessing they ran it up to 220, and that's where we're kind of seeing these nice net asks up here. Um, but then yeah, 200 had some big bids on the way down. I think that was 170s might have been like from the first day. I think it's just been. I mean, look at this most recent spot area. I mean, that is just all sell lately. Very interesting. A lot of shares negative here, but we'll see. If we include off levels, about the same. Shorts are obviously winning. Level reputation map. This attempt at whatever this is. Yeah, I mean it's true. I think there's obviously buying over 200, and like that 175, 180 area looks pretty decent, but it's just been a lot of sells since. Whatever the heck this star shape is. Again, kind of a V. Interesting. Makes sense, but if you want to check more on this, I'm going to really try to cut this time down. Feel free. And then pretty much nothing down here worth looking at. SNDK. I'm gonna make this one the last one. Actually, maybe one or two more. I really want to keep this short for the sense of not making hour-long videos. These are a lot of these are things that I'm interested in or might be stocks of particular interest. So maybe I'll get to SKHY, and I think I'll try to find maybe one other after this. Just want to give the people what they want. SNDK, looking last year, a lot of buy clusters. I mean, obviously, recently there's more buy clusters on this way down, which is interesting. Um, look at on levels. on levels has been falling off. That's interesting. So it's kind of, I guess that was falling off while it was still below 1,000, and now we're at a much crazier price. But we are at minus 1 million to minus 680,000 for a stock that's $1,500. That's not necessarily super surprising. Um, but I mean, there has been some upflow. This is interesting to me. I mean, look at how this is almost very consistent around negative 600,000, between negative 700,000 and like negative 500,000 on the off levels. That is interesting. I wonder what that's about, because that to me makes me wonder, the significance of off levels on this stock. Obviously, we see a lot of really large ask prints on here, or a lot of above the ask and below the bid prints. Getting to the volume profile, this is the reason that I made the smooth one, is because you can't read this, right? Nobody can. I can't read that. Wow. Oh, that's in the 600s. That's not even close to where we are now. But there's apparently a lot of selling in the in the 600s. That's unrealistic, unreasonable to probably think about at this point. It looks pretty boomerang, kind of back and forth here. Um, Between, I guess, 1,000, within plus or minus $500, which is a crazy thing to say. It does look pretty good though. It looks like kind of like a little inverted V, a little U here again. It doesn't look bad. Over the past year, yeah, still most of the people are going to be longs in profit. Um, Auctions, kind of interesting. This one's kind of interesting. Obviously you've had mostly, you know, allegedly buying prints in the auction with some smaller selling prints, and then the last 3 days we got the biggest sell one that we've seen, and the second biggest buying one that we've seen. So we'll see how that plays out. Level reputation map, yeah, there's no chance we're gonna be able to see anything on this. Our little constellation, again, that's kind of hard to read. An interesting amount of accumulation on would have been the 24th. So we'll have to see. So this is the start end day. Net shares plus 453,000. I wonder if, yeah, I wonder if that's auctions. I think that it is. No recent signals on the flow up, price down. This bullish sign was pretty nice. Haven't really seen anything since. Yeah, new dollar breaks. Yeah, this is just meaningless. All right, and then let's do Sky. I always just say Skyhook. I have no idea why, but SKHY. Yeah, obviously this recently IPO'd. We're not going to have a year's worth of data, so this is what we get. If we're looking at the on level, um, mostly sell, but it's been tracking the price. Off level, that's interesting. Um, Positive off level, and it all started down here around 156 up to 175. Yeah, that's interesting. I don't know what to make of that, but yeah, for the last, I guess, these are only 7/16, so half a month, 2 or 3 weeks. Net flow. Granted, it was mostly these couple days, but net flow on the off levels is still positive. Um, Interesting story here. We're kind of at a high sell on the net profile here when you consider the controlling levels only. Good buying above spot. I think we're still below. Maybe like 160 might be a place to watch, because it's kind of where this a little shift happens. But yeah, it's very obvious that we have a lot of sell here. To me, I don't know why, but this almost looks like a big gap in one of the directions might happen. Um, I don't know how these things play out. I haven't studied it enough, but that is just a very big spike compared to the rest. And yeah, I mean, there's nothing we can do with that. Sorry, guys. Interesting curve to down and to the right. Again, if you want to look at these in more detail, please check out the site. Otherwise, I'm just going to call it there. if you guys are actually watching, if you guys actually go all the way through this, shout out, dude. Shout out. You guys are great. I appreciate you. I hope that I was able to help a little bit. If not, just, yeah, again, everything in here is just for educational purposes, just kind of going through the site, talking about what we're able to offer, what kind of information you can see. And yeah, thanks, guys, for your time. Have a good weekend.